I am a theoretical physicist. Modern day physics tends to have this division of labor where we have the theorist, which is me, doing math in an office, and we calculate the way the world ought to be. And then there are experimentalists who go into a laboratory and measure the way the world actually is. And so then we get together and we discuss, are they matching up or are they not matching up? But the very fact that I can write down equations that have something to do with what we find in the universe, to me that says that there's a creator who wants to be found, who wants to be discovered. Because believe me, we theoretical physicists, we could write down equations that are so complicated, you would never figure it out empirically. I mean, right, in order to empirically discover what the actual law is, you have to be able to control the variables. You have to have a small enough number of variables to where you can actually control them. You also need what physicists call a separation of energy scales. If you have 3 or more things happening at roughly the same energy scale, you'll never figure it out. So what we see in nature is actually, there is this lovely hierarchy of length scales. There's length scales and energy scales. Those are tied, to where we can hone in on one effect at a time and figure it out. Why in the world is it that way, right? We could write down self-consistent laws that describe the universe that would involve many more variables, many more energy scales coming together, and you'd never be able to untie the evidence train. It would be like a Gordian knot, and we would just never make progress.
So it's almost like the creation is designed in a way to make it amenable to discovery.
Well, I think you have to ask that question. It absolutely begs that question. Why in the world can we figure this stuff out to begin with? Why are we capable of understanding those underlying laws? And to me, I see an answer to that in Scripture. I see that in the Proverbs, King Solomon said that it's the glory of God to hide a matter, but it's the glory of kings to seek it out. That's Proverbs 25. And we're also told that Solomon was very knowledgeable about natural sciences. It says that he could talk about many different animals and many different plants, and so he understood this, that that God had hidden these things only a little bit, kind of enticing us to go in and discover them. And Paul makes reference to this in his sermon on Mars Hill. He talks about how God has hidden himself, but just a little bit, so that we might grope after him and seek after him and find him. He's only a little bit hidden.